Well, welcome to tonight's special 100% LCFC live video. We are joined very, very shortly by Freddie from a Saints fanzine called The Ugly Inside, which Freddie will tell us all about that. We've chatted before with him on here. Loads and loads of Leicester fans. We should be live streaming onto Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. So if you've got any comments on any of those channels, let me know what you want to ask Freddie. What if you want to ask me anything? Obviously, the big match is on Thursday, but less of me waffling. Hi to Terry Fuller. How are you? Get your comments in, get your views in, get your questions in. I'm sure we want to ask Freddie about Claude Puel and what his thoughts are on the match. Anthony Lowe, thanks for watching. Jason Mills, Mike Jenner, hi. Matt Hickinson says he thinks he can safely answer on behalf of Freddie and every other Saints fan, no, the club was going downhill anyway. Oh, this is about Claude Puel. I think Matt Hickinson might be a Saints fan, which is great. Hopefully some Saints fans are going to come on here and give us their comments. Anyway, let's bring Freddie in. Less of me. Here he comes. Freddie, how are you from the Ugly Inside?
Hi, mate. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. It's a heartbreaking week. Just trying to be a real person with Saints in the back of your mind and our perilous predicament at the moment.
Bottom three. You must have been cheering West Ham on a bit last night.
Cheering on West Ham. We're cheering on Brighton tonight. Cheering on West Ham. You know, everybody that is all the top clubs that are playing the little clubs, let's say, the smaller clubs in the league, wanting them to lose. And that goes against everything that, Southampton, Leicester go against, rooting for the bigger clubs to really kick down the smaller clubs, just to keep the smaller clubs up,
I mean, you're stuck in you are third from bottom, is that right?
Third from bottom, 5 points from safety, and 4 points from the bottom.
Yeah. So Stoke and West Brom are looking. I mean, West Brom are doomed, aren't they? Stoke, who knows? Swansea above you has got caught back up into it, haven't they, a little bit? But Saints, you put up a couple of great performances against Chelsea and Arsenal with no luck.
Yeah, very spirited performances. I think actually the last two games there's been no lack of effort. There's been no lack of desire. Certainly, Mark Hughes has got a reaction from the lads after the pathetic performance against West Ham. Quite unlucky with a couple of decisions at the weekend. Mike Dean 5 yards away. If Marcus Alonso had gone off at that point, it would have been a completely different game. We would have been comfortable and assuring the victory. But these things happen in football, and it's not the first time this season. We've had a blatant handball against Watford in January, which lost us, from a winning position. We end up getting a draw from that 2-2 when we're winning 2-1. We're winning 1-0 on Saturday, and we go on to lose the game. It was a complete capitulation, a complete collapse. We crumbled like a cookie.
Here's a question for you. Loads of questions coming in, Freddie. So we'll try and keep each answer quite brief. But Anthony Lowe, I think a Leicester fan saying, would you have Puel back over Mark Hughes?
Oh,
here we go. Are you regretting? This time last year, you were 8th and you got to a cup final. This year, you're in a cup semi-final and you're third from bottom. You know it's coming. What do you think?
Hindsight, isn't it? It's all hindsight, mate. I mean, you could ask the same question about you. Do you regret sacking Ranieri despite him winning the title the year before?
Yes, I do. So you're not really answering that one on Hughes or Puel then?
No, honestly, we were just saying off camera. He's not very. He doesn't connect very well with the fans. He says the same catchphrases. He doesn't bring life to the dressing room. He doesn't inspire the team. Doesn't inspire the fans, and that's ultimately what we crave as football fans. We want somebody from the touchline to lead from the front. And, I think we went 6 games at the end of last season with not a single goal. It was boring, Claude Puel, what we said, isn't it?
You're allowed to say that. We're Leicester fans. We're still trying to back him, although I know the fans are starting to get very split. Terry Fuller says, did you cringe when you got Mark Hughes?
Not really. I think if you looked at the managers that were available of the candidates, you probably would have said Mark Hughes would get it just above the rest of the candidates. There was Marcus Silva, of course, who was in the hat, but he is, for me, I think he's quite a greedy manager. Obviously, his head was turned when Everton came calling whilst he was at Watford, and ever since they did call, he picked up very little points from Watford. Mark Hughes knows how to fight, knows how to scrap in the Premier League, proven manager, had previously managed 5 clubs. Fantastic experience at Manchester City, Fulham, Stoke City, excellent results despite it sort of falling apart at the beginning of this season. I think there's a bit of romanticism in Mark Hughes coming back as well. Played for 2 years at the Dell with us, kept us up in the Great Escape season. I think people connected with that story. He was one to help us out the muck in the 99-2000 season. Hopefully, we hope that he can do the same this season.
Ibtiaz has put a comment in. He says Anthony Knockaert is playing very well, apparently, for Brighton tonight, a former Fox. I don't know what the score is in that. Who are they playing, Freddie? Brighton.
It's Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Yeah, it's Tottenham.
Oh, well, we're all cheering Brighton on then. Although, yeah. Do you want Brighton to lose, though, do you, Freddie? Yes.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. We want Brighton to lose. And actually, a few of us have actually looked at Brighton's fixtures for the rest of the season. They've got to play the top 4 and Burnley. Their running is absolutely dreadful. And, on paper, obviously nothing's won on paper. They could pick up 0 points until now the rest of the campaign. We could outside chance of catching Brighton.
Yeah, the points can change very quickly, as Newcastle have shown. They're suddenly, I think they're 2 points behind Leicester, and yet they were in a relegation battle 3 games ago. Stuart comes out straight with it. Stuart Aldridge says, do you think Southampton will go down? I know what you're going to say, Freddie, to that, because I'd say the same.
I think Thursday night determines the rest of our campaign. If we lose Leicester, that's us good as gone. I cannot see a way back from that. We've got to play Everton, Swansea, Bournemouth, and Manchester City in the final few games. A loss on Thursday night, that's it. I think we're gone, 100%.
Really? I mean, there's only 3 games left after Thursday, isn't there, for you, I think? Yeah,
well, we've got 4. We've got the game in hand against Swansea, which was moved because we played in the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got to play Swansea on our last away game of the season. So we've got 3 games that week. We've got to play Everton away on the Saturday night, go to Swansea on Tuesday night, a last away game of the season. We hope and pray that could be the one that really keeps us up. Manchester City will be on the beach. They'll have nothing to play for. They already won the league, not in the Champions League, not in the FA Cup. So, but having said that, even their second string side could beat half the league.
But you guys are in the FA Cup, aren't you, Freddie, in the semi-finals?
Yeah, this is a conversation that we've had across many different platforms, many different channels, many different profiles have asked, would you rather win the FA Cup and go down, or would you rather stay up in the Premier League and win the FA Cup? It's a very difficult question. Selfishly, I'd probably take a bit of history, a bit of silverware, because
really,
yeah, honestly, yeah, it's not gonna go down very well with a few people, but obviously Saints lack silverware. The only thing we've won in our history
1976,
76 FA Cup, and that's the only thing we're clinging on to. So an FA Cup in history, that'd be fantastic. But on the other hand, of course, it's a financial element. We're going to lose, that millions of pounds from the TV coverage, and that is ultimately it. We'll have a chance to rebuild, but there won't be anything anywhere near. But having said that, if we do go down, we will have a fire sale of the greatest proportion, probably 12, 13 players, and we'll have nearly £200 million to play with in the Championship.
Yeah, we were talking about which players from Southampton we'd like to come and cherry pick. Charlie Austin being one of my favourites. You've got a few, but obviously Liverpool will have first dibs in that contract you've got with them for all your players, won't they?
Of course they will. Yeah, that's a cheap joke.
Got to take the cheap jokes. Right, let's read some comments out. Yeah, Terry's saying you might sell all your players. Anthony's saying, all you really have to do is cheer louder than us, which isn't hard these days. A lot of Leicester fans I'm going to talk on behalf of Leicester fans. I think a lot of Leicester fans don't fancy it this Thursday. We think Southampton have got a good chance.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We're fighting for our lives, and we've seen a lot of spirit in the last 2 games. And you guys have now reached the 40-point mark. Was it you on 43 points? I think a draw or a point will, 100% see us safe. I think for me, the way I see it, I think obviously Leicester, I think will be coasting now to the end of the season. I think a top half finish, excellent result for you considering the start of your campaign, and we'll be right up for it. One thing I would say about Leicester, when we came to King Power a few years ago, when you were in charge for the Premier League title, the atmosphere was amazing. But the only thing that made it amazing was those stupid clackers, the clappers. We absolutely hate them down at St Mary's. Do they still have them at the King Power?
We do, although I'm going to, again, speaking honestly on behalf, I notice a lot of fans seem to have given up using them, to be fair. It's a shame because they create a great atmosphere. I don't know why Leicester fans, I don't know, it feels like at Leicester, if I'm being honest, Freddie, a little bit like after the Lord Mayor's show has been and gone with the Premier League, we don't know whether we should be expecting, half of us think we're grateful that we're 8th in the Premier League, and even to be in the Premier League is great. As you guys know, you're a very similar club. But because we actually amazingly won the Premier League, we suddenly, a lot of us thinking, well, not why can't we do it again, but, perhaps you look at teams like Burnley and you think, how the hell have Burnley come up from the Championship when we were winning the Premier League and suddenly are higher than us and we haven't progressed? So a lot of fans are quite upset at Leicester at the moment.
It's expectations, isn't it? The more success that you have, the expectations become greater. We spoke in the preview on our show, which will be up shortly if any of you want to go watch it. But we spoke on our show yesterday that the situation that we're in was totally unthinkable 2 years ago. Reached 6th place in the league, above Chelsea, above Liverpool, reaching Europa League football last season, winning against Inter Milan at home. Fantastic memories in a European tour, and to the situation that we are now is totally unbelievable. The board have to take some responsibility for that because their arrogance have left Pellegrino in their job for far too long. Reports that I've read suggest that Kruger held out a few times because Pellegrino picked up a few wins or a few draws, went on a little bit of run, and they kept him into a job. But he should have gone for me after or, around the Christmas time when we got hammered by you guys at home.
So they left it too long, which is what a lot of Leicester fans are talking about Claude Puel about, is maybe not now, but obviously in the summer, is he the guy to be given out? We've got a decent war chest for next season. We're safe, so we can plan for next season. Should he be left in charge? And like I say, a lot of Leicester fans have, like Adam Tucker here says, we seem to have lost our passion at Leicester. There's little glimpses of it every now and then, but not too much. Imtiaz says, I love the Clappers. They should stay permanently. I'm sure the owners feel the same way. Freddie, we're gonna finish up in the next 5 minutes or so. Players for us to watch out from you at the moment. Who would you pick out from your players that might cause us some issues?
Well, you know what? I think Mark Hughes may stick with the same side that played against Chelsea. Away from home, I think we'll probably sit up a little bit deep. Players you need to look out for, possibly you need to look out for Bednarek, a bit of an unknown quantity, scored against Chelsea at the weekend. Excellent finish. For me, hugely underrated player, James Ward-Prowse, was hooked off the last 20 minutes or so against Chelsea, but his deliveries, his free kicks, abilities from dead ball is what we rely on. And that was absolutely proven. Fantastic ball into Bednarek on the far post against Chelsea, and we put it in for 2-0. Tadic goes in and out and drabs. Whether or not he can fight for his survival is another story, because he's been in the press this week. Had sleepless nights, would you believe it? But at the moment, I think you need to look at Bednarek, Ward-Prowse, and for me, Shane Long running his socks off, absolutely harassing defenders. Nicked one in the near post against Mustafi, caught them sleeping. So if your defenders are sleeping on Thursday night, then Shane Long will be the one to nick at your ankles.
Stephen Barnett says, I guess Stephen's a Saints fan, says Pellegrino should have gone after we lost to Burnley. He's talking about Southampton losing to Burnley. A few Leicester fans saying after we lost to Burnley on Saturday, Puel should have gone. Jason Mills saying the Leicester fans have a right to have high expectations given what's happened in the last few seasons. The owners' ambitions are also very high, but their ambitions won't be met with Claude Puel. Another anti-Puel comment there. So score predictions is obviously what we always do. We like to get everybody to predict the first goal scorer. and then the correct final score. So it's going to be really interesting, Freddie, to hear yours in just a moment. I ask anybody who's watching, Saints fan, Leicester fan, Jim Needle's already gone 0 to Leicester, 4 to Saints. He's either a doom and gloom Leicester fan or a very positive Saints fan. There's normally goals, Leicester Saints. There's normally goals. Phil Creed says 3-0 to Leicester, which would be great. Freddie, who's going to score the first goal, and what do you think the score prediction is going to be?
I think it'll be goals from either side. I think a safe bet will be both teams to score, absolutely. We can't keep a clean sheet at the moment. We've conceded 12 goals in the last 4 games. So Newcastle, West Ham, Arsenal, Chelsea. Another 3 goals, that'll be the nail in the coffin for me. But I think we've got what it takes to nick a win at the week on Thursday night. Maybe Shane Long to score first. 2-1 Saints.
Yeah, to be fair, well, Adam Tucker's just gone Shane Long to score first, but Leicester win 2-0. So you're going 2-1 Saints and Shane Long to score. It's going to be interesting. I've been putting loads of predictions on here from everybody. Chris Hallam is saying 3-0 City with Mahrez to score first. Joanna says 2-0, about time for Mahrez to score. Stephen Bennett saying 2-3 to Southampton. We cannot keep a clean sheet. Brent Hope is saying 4-1 Vardy hat-trick. Loads and loads of predictions coming in. Peter Smith, who's got a Leicester City badge, is saying 0-2 to Saints. A quick question for you here. I don't know if you're old enough, but Alfie Grucock says, were you lucky enough to witness Matt Letizia? He says, in particular, his last goal at the Dell.
Well, I would have been about 12 his last game at the Dell. So I caught his tail end of his career, nipping into the Dell a few times, getting into the Archers Road end. Fantastic days out, the sun coming across into the ground. It was a great atmosphere. Sometimes I wish we'd go back there.
Well, yeah, obviously, because St Mary's is pretty much an identical off-the-shelf stadium to the King Power Stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, it was built by the same architects, I believe, but it's, yours is blue, ours is red. That's about it.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, Freddie, it's been brilliant having you on, and thanks for everybody who's been putting in loads and loads of comments. People still putting things in there. It's been a pleasure having Freddie on, hasn't it, everybody? And we'll chat to you soon, Freddie. I wish you good luck in staying up, because I think most fans outside of Southampton would not like to see Southampton go down, because they're a good footballing side, produce a good stream of players if only they could keep hold of them. So we sort of wish you well. Don't want you really to win on Thursday, but a lot of Leicester fans are fearing that it could happen.
Thanks so much, mate. And hopefully we do speak again in the Premier League.
Hope so, Freddie. Catch you soon. I'm just going to wrap it up here. So that was Freddie joining us from the Ugly Inside. It was fantastic to have the opposition view on. I think he was very honest there in his thoughts. You can see in his face that he's potentially worried, like we all have been at times with Leicester in the greatest escape season, even at points last season and at the start of this season. It's no fun, is it, being down in the bottom 3, especially when I think a club like Southampton, like Leicester, try and do things the right way, develop their own players. They have to work within a budget. So all the best to Southampton and all the guys from the Ugly Inside. Thanks everybody who's been watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. I appreciate all your comments. There's been so many, I couldn't put everyone up on screen. We'll see you down at, we're at Peter's Pizzas from about 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. We're doing some live streaming from there on match night. Then we're going down to the Blues Bar, and then obviously we've been to the ground. We've got some stuff to tell you about the Birch's run on May the 5th, so keep your eyes peeled for that. The Birch phoned me earlier and said that he needs some 100% LCFC fans to get down and rattle some buckets on May the 5th for the West Ham last home game before his charity run. So thanks everybody who's been watching. Thanks for all your comments. We'll see you before the match at Peter's Pizzas or down outside the ground before and after the game at the Blues Bar. Do come and speak to us on camera. Just jump on us. Even if we're going live, come and say hello, keep the swearing out, but come and tell us what you think. Hopefully it's celebrating a great win. But from me, Phil, 100% LCFC. Thanks everybody who's been watching. I'll catch you soon.